And please do not come on a trip with me and you don't have money. That's gonna piss me off and I'm gonna go off on you and not getting anything. That's being a nice girl. That's a nice girl syndrome. You're always gonna end up losing because guess what? That person is getting something from you and you're just there, not getting anything.
Baby, you should get to know me. Tapping into that good energy.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another video. By the way, I'm not naked. I am just wearing a tube top. What's these called? Like those ruffled tube tops vibes. Yeah, I'm not naked, as you can see. Okay, don't think that I'm not wearing anything. But in today's video, we're gonna talk about how to stop being a nice girl. I've been a nice girl before and it definitely bit my behind. And I'm gonna share some tips and tricks on how to stop being a nice girl and actually just hold your ground and being the baddest, knowing your boundaries and actually stop allowing people to just step on you like you don't know what you're doing or you don't know anything. So yeah, if you like this video, make sure you thumbs up this video, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you comment down below other tips so people can learn from it as well. Okay, that was a tongue tie. One thing I realized is that most of us that I would say I was a nice girl. I'm not a nice girl anymore. If you meet me right now and if you're friends with me, you're gonna know my boundaries from the first day, first week, first month. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything to you. Probably know the things I like from the first day we meet. My political stance on things you will know the first day we meet most times, and you will know how I operate around my surrounding and around my comfort space. One thing I realized after years of being a nice girl was the fact that I had to really try to figure out what was really inside of me that was making me be nice to people that were not nice to me. I realized that when I go back and look back at the foundation or when those things actually started was in my childhood, growing up in a house with a lot of people. My mother had over 10 siblings and they would just come in and out of the house all the time. As a child, being seen in that type of household was very, very hard, and I felt like I had to just do nice things for people to see that I was being a nice girl. I was always very nurturing and very kind as a kid, and I would just allow anyone, if somebody come over, my mom would just say, oh, you guys just go to the floor, and then allow the person to sleep on the bed. So growing up and actually seeing that and allowing things like that to happen, or my parents allowing things like that to happen, molded me to be the woman I used to be. I've changed, okay? I'm not nice again as I used to be. I'm still nice, but I filter it. And as a teenager, having daddy issues, having a father that was not really involved in my life, growing up as a teenager actually made me feel like I need to be more nice to people to actually feel like I was being seen. And it's kind of hard to explain, especially or understand if you have not been in a similar situation. And we have this kind of a nurturing mindset or perspective about life, and whenever people come close to us, we try to just nurture them to our demise, and we nurture them so much to the point where it's like we are hurting ourselves either physically, emotionally, or mentally. It's very, very draining being in the other end of things and always giving and never receiving. So yeah, I had to really have a come to Jesus moment and realize what is really causing me to allowing these people to walk over me, and I'm just allowing people to do whatever they want and come back whenever they want. I realized that I needed to heal from those issues and actually come to terms with the fact that I deserve more, and I deserve to be loved, I deserve to be seen, I deserve to be appreciated. I should not have friends that just think they can just do whatever they want to do to me and just feel like they can just be in my life and act normal. First tip I will say, it's not your responsibility to make somebody like you. No matter how much you try to act like you don't care, everybody wants everyone to like them. There's this validation as a normal human being that you want from everyone. Even being a Christian, you want God to like you. You want to be in the good side of God. You want to be on the right hand of God. It's embedded in us as humans for people to like us, and we notice when people don't like us, and we try our best for people to like us. So one thing I realized, the fact that it's not your responsibility. Not everyone needs to like you. You don't need to be everyone's favorite, and you don't need to be the sweetest or the calmest or the nicest in the room. And you could be a bitch and you could be an asshole, and people will still like you for who you are. Stop trying to be something you're not. Eventually it's gonna come out, and the real you is gonna come out. So just be you, and the people that really, really like you, trust me, they're gonna fall in love with you. I've seen people, rude people, disrespectful people that other people are so in love with, and I'm like, how is that possible? How are you so in love with this person and they are not nice to anyone around them? How is that possible? That shows you that, yeah, even if you're the worst person ever, there's somebody out there that's gonna like you. Another tip, do not do things that you're not ready for. A lot of times, part of being liked or trying to be the nice girl is always always saying yes is part of people pleasing. Do not always say yes to things. If you know you cannot afford that girl's trip and you know that it's gonna not allow you to pay your rent or your bills on time, just say no. Or if you feel like going out with your girls that night is gonna cost you money and you need to pay your light bill, prioritize things that are more important to you. Be the party pooper and be like, yeah, I'm not going. Yeah, I don't have money to go. It's okay to do that. If you don't even need to tell them that you don't have money to go, just say no, I'm sorry, I cannot afford it right now. Maybe next time, or I'm busy. Make up an excuse and not always say yes to things. When you say yes to things that you don't really want to do, most times 9 out of 10 you always end up regretting it and you always end up losing at the end. If you know you can't afford that girl's trip and you go on that trip, you're gonna be pissed off the whole trip. And please do not come on a trip with me and you don't have money. That's gonna piss me off and I'm gonna go off on you. So please just stay home and just have a champagne or have fun with the rest of the girls on Snapchat or FaceTime. Do not go on that trip if you know that you cannot afford it. It's gonna cause you more harm than good. And just, respect yourself. And when it comes to relationships, when you start any relationships, either friendships, platonic, or with romantic relationships, don't always be the first one to show how much you can give before the other person. Take your time and actually evaluate the situation and see how much you can get from that person. Regardless of how much people try to say it or sugarcoat it, like, you should always have an authentic relationship and not try to always find what you're gonna get from people. It's absolutely ridiculous in my book. I think as a human being, if that person is not bringing any value into your life, you should not even be in any relationship or any situation with them. Even when it comes to friendships, if they're not adding values to your life, why are you there? You should not be just vibing. You're a grown-ass woman or a grown-ass man. You're not just supposed to be vibing. If you're a friend with somebody, you should be getting something from that friend. Either maybe the friend knows how to write resumes, or the friend always get good jobs and they're not to recommend you, or the friend know really influential people. Something must be coming out of a relationship. Or the friend maybe have the best time when you guys go out. You're always a party. Or maybe the friend just know how to have a really good time and it makes you feel really good when you guys are out. You should always be getting something from that friend. Don't just be in a friendship or a relationship and not getting anything. That's being a nice girl. That's a nice girl syndrome. You're always going to end up losing, because guess what? That person is getting something from you and you're just there not getting anything. A true relationship, and I think a relationship that really, really will last a long time, are relationships that take patience, not relationships that are really forced. If you feel like you're overdoing or you're overgiving the person, you're really overgiving and you're overdoing. You should fall back and just see how much you can get from that person. Don't just always be the one to offer. When you go out to eat, even with friends, don't always be the one to offer to pay for everyone. Don't always be the one to offer to do everything. Don't always be the one to offer to babysit or offer to do things for people. Always wait for people to first find all their resources. And if you know as a friend or as a partner, their resources are not helping them, then you can step in and help them. Do not ever overextend yourself for people. I've realized that I used to always overextend myself for people. If a friend is having a birthday in another country, I will book my flight and go. Something I would not do as much anymore. I will only do it for people that I really care about and people that I know that would do it for me as well. So don't just always be the first one to, like, yeah, I'm gonna get the plane ticket, or yeah, I'm gonna pay for the dinners, or yeah, I'm gonna babysit. If they can always fall back and see how much resources they can find on their own, and if they can't at all and you know that you can help, then step in and help. But always just back up, always raise your hand. You know those kids in school that always want to raise their hand to answer the question, the teacher's always rolling their eyes? Yeah, that's going to be you pretty soon. Another thing about being the nice girl is also oversharing information. You're constantly oversharing when it comes to finances, relationships, and everything. You're always telling your friend everything. It's a form of being a nice girl. You're trying to make people see you, and I understand. I've been there before. You don't have to do that. You're a grown-ass woman. You could validate yourself. Nobody needs to validate you, and God is validating you already. So you don't need to validate yourself from human beings. Like, no, God in heaven already think that you're the shit. God thinks that you're the bomb. God thinks that you're the it girl. You don't need to be telling people all your personal things or your finances or information about you to make yourself feel like, okay, well, at least I'm just sharing. Or say, for example, you got a new job and you get paid the salary and you telling everyone about it. You think, and sometimes people think like, oh, I'm just sharing information because I want them to know how much I get paid. I don't want these recruiters or these employers to scam them and pay them less. Yeah, I understand that. If you guys are in the same career path or the same field, like especially for people like us that are in tech, I like to sometimes share how much a company offered, just in case if I know with the person and I know that, you know, they can get more money in a helpful way. But I don't usually do that for people that are not really close to me. People people or people I've not known for years. I don't just voluntarily share that information with people just trying to be the nice girl. I know this gatekeeping culture on TikTok is really annoying, and I hate when people on TikTok say you're using an eyebrow pencil and I ask you like, what's that? And then you don't tell me. That pisses me off. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about personal information about you, your finances, your relationship problems. Like, it should be between you and your man and not between the whole community, if that makes sense. And even when people ask about things like that, generalized information. Don't always tell people everything. Always water it down. Don't tell people the exact thing that is going on in your life or the exact thing that is happening. Always water it down. Like, if they ask you, oh, how are you and your man doing? We're doing great. We're trying to work on this, You don't need to go into the details. You guys are in therapy, or his mama pissed you off, or he did this, or he did that, he didn't take out the trash, or all that stuff. You don't need to go into too much detail. I realize that oversharing too much information makes you look like a weirdo, and you're not really looking like a nice girl. You're looking like an oversharer. So you don't need to share everything, and you don't need to talk about everything to try to make people like you. People that really like you, trust me, they really like you. They're in love with you, and they are obsessed with your presence, and they love being around you regardless of what you give them or what you share with them. The last tip that I have is being someone's therapist, or being someone's confidant, or being someone's secret keeper. I think that's a nice girl syndrome. As a previous nice girl or retired nice girl, I used to be the friend that you would call and be on the phone with for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and you just vent and vent and vent. To me, it's extremely toxic, because as much as you think you're helping your friend, you're not really helping them much. You're not a certified therapist, and you don't know really anything about relationships much to be giving them advice for 2-3 hours. They need to go and seek a therapist. Their insurance might cover it, and they can work on their issues. Being on the phone with your friend for 3, 4, 5 hours and then pouring all their toxic things, all the bad things that's happening in their life on you, it's a burden. And I remember having friends like that. I would come from work and I'm tired. I am extremely tired. I am tired from all the craziness, and they would just be on the phone with me for hours and hours and hours talking about their relationships. I think it's extremely toxic, and it's draining to you, because you deserve to have your own private and silent moments. Sometimes I tell my family, don't call me, because I don't want to hear it. I just want to have a private dinner with my boyfriend. I just want to watch a movie without any interruptions. And then other times I'd be on the phone with my sister for 5 hours. It's balanced. It's okay. It's completely normal. It's completely okay. But I'm talking about friends and family members that just like drain the life out of you, and you just sit there and just indulge the information. You're just taking it. As time goes by, what I realize is you start to become a product of your environment. You start to be more toxic. You start to be more aggressive. If that person is always cursing, you start to curse too. So I think having a nice girl syndrome in that aspect is really, really detrimental to you, and it can cause a lot of problems for you. It can make you just drained. Like, you come from work, you need to chill, you need to rest. If you value your 2 hours and your 3 hours after work, trust me, going to work every day is really, really annoying. I used to commute to work all the time, every day, and it used to be really, really stressful. So I definitely understand when you come back home, you would just want to unwind, play your music, watch your YouTube videos, watch your crime shows, and not have any disturbance. So if you need to do that, tell that friend or tell that family member, like, hey, not tonight, I cannot do it. So be a nice girl and just stay on the phone and just listen to their bullshit. You have more bullshit to deal with in your regular life anyways. You don't need another person to add to it. And also, you're only bringing value to them. You're not bringing value to yourself. You always just listening on the phone and always just advising people about how to maneuver life. You're adding value to them. What is that giving to you? Again, back to my first point, the fact that you always end up in these relationships that you're not getting anything from is not good for you. When you are in any relationship, either friendship or relationship, you need to make sure you're getting something from that relationship. What are you getting from it? Are you benefiting from that relationship? Are they adding value to your life? Are they making you happy? Have you seen your life improved ever since you became friends with them? All those things are very, very important. Yeah, those are my tips on how to stop being a nice girl and actually eliminate the nice girl syndrome. It's not healthy for you. You deserve to be with people. So yeah, I hope these tips were helpful to you. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. Make sure you thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel because there's more content coming up. And yeah, I appreciate you guys watching my videos, and I will see you guys in my next video. Peace out.